I'm a very conscientious shopper. Everything that is in my closet or in my drawers are things that I love. Oh, almost everything, because I didn't always used to be a conscientious shopper. I used to be an I'm bored shopper, or I'm happy shopper, or I'm angry shopper, or it's Tuesday shopper. I just shopped. Clothes and shoes, that's my jam. And that meant that I wound up with a lot of stuff in my closet. A lot of stuff that I liked, but that wasn't really me and that I was never gonna actually wear. And it was really hard for me to part with stuff that I liked. And that meant that even though my taste and style had changed, my closet wasn't. It was just expanding. And that caused a huge space problem, not just externally, but internally as well. And I was keeping things that no longer served me and that weren't doing my self-esteem or my space any good. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how I fixed that. Hey sugar, I'm Ro the Black Magnolia, your favorite bougie babe, bringing you all your bougie but budget-friendly tips and faves, and a little bit of everything in between. Today is more of the in-between, and we are going to talk about the 5 stages of clothing madness. Almost a little bit like the 5 stages of grief for me, and that might sound a little bit dramatic, but as I get through this video, you're going to understand exactly what I mean by that. I'm not conflating the two in a way that it doesn't make sense, so just stick with me here and I will explain to you how those two things were not mutually exclusive when it came to me letting go of things that weren't serving me anymore. Stage 1, delusion. All great madness starts with a little bit of delulu, and mine did absolutely start there. I'll sometimes walk into one of the 3 closets that I have that house all of my clothing and accessories and go, I don't have anything to wear. Or I'll look at pictures of myself and go, oh, what a cute outfit. I didn't know I had that anymore. That's crazy talk. Like, did you hear? I said one of my 3 closets? Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. For me, that's not a flex. It's a little embarrassing because half the stuff in my closet were things that I was not actually wearing anymore, but I was just holding on to. And there were 2 things that happened that really made me realize how delusional I was about my clothing and about what I had and didn't have in my closets and drawers. My girlfriend and I had taken our daughters to a Phoebe Bridgers concert a few years back, and I overpack. I always overpack. We were only staying the weekend, but I had 2 carry-on bags. Yeah, and my girlfriend said to me as we were actually getting ready for the concert, she says, you know you're a one-time wear, right? And I said, what? She said, you're a one-time wear. I have only ever seen you wear outfits once, and we've been friends for a really long time. And I was offended by that because I thought, I'm not wasteful and I'm not like a hoarder, but then I started to think about like events that we'd been to together and things that we had done and just hanging out or going to brunch, and I really did pick up on the fact that she was right. And then if you remember, like I said, I would look at photos of myself and go, oh, that's cute. I didn't know I had that anymore. Well, once I did that and realized as I went into my closet that there was a bag of clothes with tags on them that I had bought of almost the same exact outfit, just different color. So like same outfit, different font. I'd have an event that would be coming up, and like so many of us, I would get in my head and think about how I wanted to look and the mood and the feel I wanted my outfit to set for the event. And I wouldn't immediately go to my closet and think about what I had that could do that. I would think about where I was gonna go to get an outfit and accessories and shoes that were gonna make that vision happen. And that was a huge problem. Delusion. I wasn't shopping smart. I didn't even need to shop. I wasn't shopping my closet. I was just going out and getting more stuff. I didn't care. I wanted to make sure the mood, the feeling, the vibe that I wanted to put out there for wherever I was going or whatever I was doing was achieved. And that meant shopping. And that leads us to stage 2, denial. So you know what they say about denial. It is not just what they say to you when you're applying for your 14th credit card at Sephora that you don't need. It's actually a condition that you really need to deal with. Stage 1 always starts with me saying something stupid like, I don't have any. Yeah, and that leads to stage 2, denial, believing the I don't have any, when I really do. I will rationalize any reason to go out and shop. So the last time we moved, I was unpacking my clothes and putting things away in my closet, and I realized that I had 42 white t-shirts, assorted shades of white, a little ecru, a little cream, a little off-white, a little stark white, a little bright white, but like 42 white t-shirts. Some v-neck, some round collar, but again, 42 white t-shirts. I came downstairs and I said to my husband, if at any point you see me reaching for a white t-shirt when we're out in a store, just like tase me, something. Because it's kind of silly to have 42 white t-shirts, and I can tell you in the past 12 to 14 months, I've maybe worn 7 of them, maybe. You don't get to 42 t-shirts by telling yourself you've got enough. You get to 42 t-shirts by saying, oh, I need another t-shirt. Oh, that's cute. That's not cute, that's denial. that is not realizing that A, you already have enough of something, and B, you have got a problem. And I had a problem. By the time I actually sat down and thought about what my friend had said, you are a one-time wear, coupled with 42 white t-shirts that I didn't need. And now mind you, it was just 42 white t-shirts. That's not the black t-shirts, the beige t-shirts, the pink t-shirts, the brown, the tan, the gray. There's a lot of t-shirts. But that really hit me, and I had to figure out what the root of it was and how to fix it, because it was causing other issues in my life. So from delusion to denial to dysfunction, I had to recognize that my shopping was a dysfunctional issue that I was dealing with, and it was causing clutter in my head and in my space. There was stuff everywhere. When we moved in, I was so overwhelmed. It took me 2 months to unpack all of my closet stuff, and I was slipping into a depression because of it. And it was making it so that I wasn't wanting to get up and do what I needed to do to put things away. Partly because putting things away meant that I realized I was gonna need to give things away. And that part for me was really hard. So I did like any normal grown-up almost in their 50s would do, and I went to therapy. Well, I had been going to therapy, but I started to dive into this issue with my therapist a little more. It might seem trivial, oh, you're going to your therapist to talk about you shopping too much, but my shopping issue was actually rooted in something way more dysfunctional than just the desire to spend money on more clothes and to set a vibe when it came to what I was wearing. So a little bit about me. My family and I moved from our home in New York to my dad's country in Africa, and we lived there for a while. But then my mom, my baby brother, and I came back, and my dad didn't. And so we went from having this really charmed, fun, you can have whatever you want life to we're homeless for a really long time. We lived in shelters, we lived in churches, sometimes we lived nowhere. That was really difficult, and that meant you didn't have a lot of stuff. You didn't have a lot of clothes, and clothes that I got were either donated or things that were given or things that we could get. Before thrift stores were cool to shop at, it was what you could get at the thrift store. And I remember this church or this place gave us some clothes, and I got this pretty little blue and white dress. I will never forget this dress to this day. And it was this like cornflower blue dress with white polka dots and ruffles like this actually. And it had a little white satin bow on it and little white buttons down the front. I loved this dress, and I wore it with like the only pair of shoes that I had, which were some sneakers, and I wore it all the time. And I remember when I started going to school, the kids would make fun of me because I wore that dress probably 3 times a week. And they would say to me, "Don't you have any other clothes?" And I would get embarrassed and didn't really know what to say because I didn't. I had that dress and like 1 or 2 other outfits and a couple pairs of underwear. And it was embarrassing. It was humiliating for me. And then I started to absolutely hate that dress and didn't want to wear it anymore. It felt like admitting we were poor and admitting we didn't have anything. And that was so hard for my little kid brain to understand, especially because I loved to feel pretty and I didn't feel pretty anymore. I just felt poor. As an adult, I worked really hard to get to where I am in life and to have the things that I have and to give my kids and my family the things that I didn't have for a really long stretch of my life. And then by the time I was about 12 or 13, my dad came back, my parents got together again, and life changed. And the first thing that I did was ask my parents for clothes. I wanted more clothes. So we weren't poor anymore. We weren't homeless anymore. We had a roof over our heads, and I wanted to feel like the other kids at school. My parents put my brother and I into private school, and we lived in a really affluent area, and I wanted to fit in and I wanted to feel like everybody else, and I didn't want to feel like I had before. So I shopped, and my parents would take me shopping all the time. So it was new school year, new clothes, summertime, new clothes, vacation, new clothes. That's how I feel like I felt loved. Out of that grew a love for fashion, and it started this really dysfunctional habit in me that if I felt angry or sad or bored, like I said in the beginning, I'm gonna fill the need with clothes. Kind of like Paul Blart.
Pie, it just fills the cracks of the heart. Go away, pain.
Shopping filled the cracks for me, and that's what I did. I used shopping to get my dopamine hit. And if I was happy, that was just a bonus because I was just giving myself a treat or a gift for something wonderful or happy that happened in my life. And shopping was the way that I did that. And that was completely dysfunctional, and it had to stop. And as I worked through that issue with my therapist and realized that I didn't need to find my self-worth in what I was wearing, and that started stage 4, and that is deliverance. Therapy, redirection of my shopping habit, and realizing that my self-worth was not in what I was wearing or what people thought about what I was wearing, but in myself as a person. But I didn't want getting healthy and being delivered from the dysfunction of shopping to fill a need to stop my joy and love of fashion just as a whole, because fashion is something that I'm really passionate about, and wanting to help other women feel beautiful in what they're wearing and what they're putting on is something that I'm super passionate about as well. But it starts with feeling beautiful about who you are inside. And that's where I had to get to. And finding the balance between those two things was something that changed everything for me. Not losing my joy of fashion, but reining it in and realizing what the signals were and the triggers that would make me shop for things that I didn't need, or that like needless spending spiral. There's something going on that was leading to me feeling like I needed to go out and spend money when I really just needed to take a breath instead of adding to cart. I realized that I had to start looking for the signals and the triggers that were making it easy for me to excuse my shopping habit and to excuse my lack of self-worth when it came to equating how I looked with who I was. Was I stressed about something? Even if it was something happy or exciting, was it stressing me out because it was something that I needed to do? Was there a big project at work? Did I have a hard day with my husband and I, or with my kids? Was I dealing with anxiety or unaddressed depression? Because that was something that I was dealing with as well. Not realizing that the symptoms that I was having was just that anger at myself turned inward that was leading to severe depression and anxiety. So I would shop, feel super excited, get that hit, and be so excited about the new stuff that I got, and then feel guilty about spending the money I could have put into my savings account on clothes because I wanted to feel better about my, like, it was just a shame spiral, and it was bad. So whenever I would feel the urge or the need to shop senselessly and not conscientiously, I'd think, okay, maybe I should take a walk, or maybe I should go outside and stretch, or maybe I need to reach out to my therapist and dig into something, or maybe just listen to a podcast or read a book. Do something else, redirect the energy and do something constructive, and not beat myself up about wanting to head straight to my go-to and shop. It was okay. I recognized that it was an issue and I could pivot and do something else. After stage 4, we get to the last stage. So we were delivered and now we decluttered. I had to go through and declutter my closets. So that, like I said, when we first moved in, was super overwhelming just to unpack and put everything away. So the thought of going in and doing it all over again, unpacking and undoing everything and trying to figure out what was gonna stay and what was gonna go was super overwhelming, because I thought, am I really gonna be able to do this? I mean, I was hanging on to clothes that didn't fit me anymore, clothes that were either too big or too small because I loved them and I equated some kind of a feeling or emotion with them. Almost anthropomorphizing my clothes, thinking, oh, but she looks so good on me and I can't get rid of her. But it was a thing that I did to rationalize keeping stuff in my closet. I thought to myself, if I try to do this all in like a day or even a week, I'm never gonna do it. So I gave myself 30 days to literally sit down with every single thing in my closet and figure out what was gonna stay and what was getting the hell out. Making space in my closet cleared things mentally for me. It wasn't overwhelming to get dressed anymore. And I knew what I had. And so it made it easy if I was going to an event or doing something that I could say, oh, hey, I know what'll work with that. This is the vibe I want to set, and I've got that vibe in my closet, so let's just do that. And it was amazing to me how much easier and how much less stressful it was to think about getting ready or think about going places. And I didn't realize that I was super stressed about getting dressed all the time either. I hadn't really unpacked it. And now, with the system that I have in place and the way that I have things organized in my closet by color, by season, all of my evening wear or cocktail hour clothes are in one part of my closet. All of my casual loungewear and like hangout clothes are in another part of my closet. And then my, business wear, my business casual blazers, all of those things are in my closet in a specific spot. And then they are all organized by color. That makes it so easy for me to be able to go in and go, okay, this is what I'm working with. And it made it easier for me to start to part with things and go, you know what? Yes, I have a sentimental attachment to something, but is it really worth my sanity and my mental clarity? Not really. So I was able to declutter and get rid of them. But I had to do it over a 30-day period because ripping the Band-Aid off was not the way to go with this for me. I had to take my time and be kind to myself and be kind to my closet. So it did feel like I was grieving part of me as I was getting rid of clothes. But as I moved through that grief, I realized I didn't have to stay sad. Because when you're a homeless kid, Your stuff is all you've got. But I'm not a homeless kid anymore. I'm a grown woman. I'm a mom. I'm a grandmother. I'm a best friend. I'm a sister. I'm a wife. I'm all of these things that are not defined by the clothes that I'm putting on my body. I am someone. You are someone, sugar. And I want you to realize that no matter what your closet looks like, no matter what your drawers look like, that does not define who you are as a woman. I had to get unstuck, and decluttering helped me do that. And I did that over that 30-day period, and it changed everything for me. Once I grieved that part of me, that little girl who felt like a nobody because she didn't have anything to wear, that teenager who felt like what she wore defined her, that 20-something who still felt like what she wore defined her, that 30 or 40-something who spent way too much money on things that she didn't need, and that almost 50-something who now realizes that she's got what she needs, and she just needs to figure out how to make that work for her, and wanting to share that with other people. And that's what the declutter did for me. It helped me grieve all of the sadness and those parts of me that needed to integrate and all come together to be one whole woman, me. The me who loves fashion, the me who has too many purses and too many pairs of shoes and is okay with that, but doesn't want to make that my personality and who I am, but who wants to lean into a love for that doesn't overwhelm the love for myself. And that's what this video is all about. It's about realizing it is absolutely 100% okay for me to have as many closets as I would like, as long as I'm not using that as my identity, as long as I'm not allowing it to define me. Because if I don't have the closet full of stuff anymore, that doesn't change who I am. It just gives it a little bit more flair. And I'm okay with the flair, but I'm not gonna let the flair be who I am. And I want that for you too. And in another video coming soon, I'm gonna show you what that 30-day declutter looked like for me, how I did it, what tools I used to do it, and how I did it in a way that was kind to myself, knowing that I was struggling with letting go of things being my identity. You are not your wardrobe. You are not the trends. You are not the look. You are individually you and wonderful and beautiful as you are. And if it did resonate with you, if you could please head down to that subscribe button, click it and turn on your notification bell. That way we can spend more time together chatting and talking about all the things. And if you could, please give the video a like and head down to the comments and let me know your thoughts on what I shared with you today. I feel like that would be a really great opportunity for us to get down into the comments and get to know each other a little bit better. And I will see you in the next video.